Our thoughts are powerful. They may seem intangible, fleeting, or even inconsequential, but the truth is, they shape everything in our lives. They dictate how we see ourselves, how we see the world, and how we respond to the challenges we face. In fact, our thoughts have the power to shape the course of our entire existence. Think about it. Before every action you take, there is a thought. Before you speak, before you decide, before you make a move in life, it begins in your mind. Your thoughts form the foundation of your reality. If you constantly think negative thoughts, you'll see a world filled with negativity. If you allow doubt to dominate your mind, your actions will be hindered by fear and insecurity. But when you replace those negative thoughts with positive, empowering ones, your life begins to reflect that shift. The power of thoughts is not just about being optimistic or having a positive mindset, though that's certainly a part of it. It's deeper than that. The thoughts we entertain often become beliefs, and those beliefs influence our actions. What you believe about yourself and the world around you is rooted in what you think. If you think you're not capable, then you won't even try. If you think you're not worthy of success, you'll find ways to sabotage your own progress. Take a moment to consider the power of a single thought. Have you ever had an idea that at first seemed insignificant, but over time it grew and took over your actions? This is the process of a thought taking root in your mind. It's like planting a seed. It starts small, but with the right environment, it grows, takes shape, and begins to shape the very course of your life. Whether the thought is positive or negative, it can multiply and influence your choices in profound ways. The mind is not a passive observer in our lives. It is an active participant. Our thoughts constantly create the environment we live in. If we focus on the challenges, the failures, the setbacks, that's what we'll keep encountering in our daily experiences. Our minds will filter the world through a lens of scarcity, lack, and hopelessness. But if we start to focus on possibilities, on solutions, and on gratitude, our mind will start filtering our reality in a new light. One of the most crucial aspects of the power of thoughts is that we have the ability to choose. We can't control every thought that comes into our heads, but we can decide which thoughts we entertain and which we reject. We can choose to stop entertaining the thought that we're not good enough. We can choose to stop letting fear dictate our decisions. We can choose to let go of resentment, bitterness, and anger. It's not an easy process. Negative thoughts, especially those rooted in fear or insecurity, can feel overwhelming. But the key to harnessing the power of your thoughts is to be aware of them. You can't fight what you don't see. When you become aware of the negative or limiting thoughts that run through your mind, you begin the process of shifting them. The more you practice replacing those negative thoughts with affirmations of truth, confidence, and power, the more those new thoughts will become your default mode of thinking. Moreover, the power of thoughts isn't just about personal growth. It also plays a role in how we interact with others. Our thoughts influence the way we treat people, the way we communicate, and the way we show up in the world. When you think with love, compassion, and understanding, it shows in your actions and interactions. But when your mind is clouded with judgment, anger, or fear, those emotions leak into your relationship. Ultimately, the power of thoughts cannot be overstated. They are the silent architects of our future and the foundation upon which we build our lives. Our thoughts shape our perceptions, our relationships, and the way we see the world. Taking control of our thoughts is one of the most powerful tools we can use to transform our lives. Mind over matter is a phrase we've all heard, but have we truly grasped its significance? It's more than just a catchy saying. It represents a profound truth about the power of our minds to influence and even overcome physical challenges, emotional struggles, and life's obstacles. At its core, this concept emphasizes the remarkable capacity of the human mind to rise above external circumstances, shape our reality, and navigate even the toughest situations. The first step in understanding mind over matter is recognizing that the mind is not just a passive observer of reality, but an active force in shaping it. Our minds have the power to transform how we experience life, how we think about a situation, whether it's a challenge at work, a personal crisis, or even physical limitations, directly influences how we respond to it. The mind, in many ways, acts as a filter through which we interpret the world. It determines whether we see problems as insurmountable obstacles or as opportunities for growth and learning. The mind's influence on the body is an area that has been studied extensively. It's well documented that our thoughts can have a profound impact on our physical health. For example, stress and anxiety can manifest as physical symptoms like headaches, high blood pressure, and fatigue. But conversely, positive thoughts and a hopeful outlook can reduce the effects of stress, boost immune function, and increase overall well-being. This connection between mind and body is a testament to how powerful our thoughts truly are. But mind over matter goes beyond just managing stress or physical health. It also applies to the mental and emotional battles we face. How many times have we been confronted with an obstacle or hardship that seemed insurmountable? The physical conditions, the tangible circumstances might say one thing. Maybe it's a financial setback, an illness, or a broken relationship, but our minds have the power to rewrite the story. Our thoughts can either keep us stuck in despair, or they can propel us forward with renewed strength, resilience, and determination. The true power of mind over matter lies in the ability to shift perspective. In difficult situations, it's easy to let external circumstances dictate how we feel, how we behave, and how we perceive our future. But the mind has the incredible ability to change how we see things. It can reframe a seemingly hopeless situation into a challenge that we can face with strength. A person who practices mind over matter can approach life's challenges with a mindset that says, "This is tough, but I will find a way. This is a test, but I will grow through it." Moreover, when we tap into the concept of mind over matter, we unlock the ability to push through physical limitations. Think about athletes who push their bodies to extraordinary limits, or individuals who overcome seemingly impossible health conditions through sheer determination and mental strength. They don't give up when their bodies tell them to stop. They push forward because their minds are in control. The mind becomes the driver and the body follows. This is not to say that the mind is all powerful or that physical reality doesn't matter. It's not about denying the challenges or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. Instead, it's about acknowledging that while external circumstances may be out of our control, the way we respond to them is entirely within our grasp. Our mindset can determine the way we navigate hardships, and it's our ability to tap into that inner strength and resilience that makes the difference. Mind over matter also teaches us the importance of perseverance. It's easy to be discouraged when things aren't going our way. It's easy to give up when the road is rough or when the physical and emotional toll becomes too much. But those who understand the power of the mind know that it is in these moments when everything feels impossible that the true strength of the mind shines through. The mind has the ability to endure, to push beyond the pain, and to persevere when it seems like all is lost. Ultimately, mind over matter is about empowering ourselves to take control of our responses, our emotions, and our actions. It's about realizing that no matter what external factors may arise, we have the ability to rise above them with the power of our minds. The key is in understanding that the mind is not a passive spectator of life, but an active player, capable of reshaping the experience of every challenge, setback, and triumph. There's a battle taking place in our minds every single day, whether we realize it or not. It's not a physical fight, but it's just as real, just as intense, and just as impactful. This battle is fought between the thoughts that we allow to take root in our minds, the thoughts of fear, doubt, insecurity, and negativity, and the thoughts of hope, strength, faith, and confidence that we must consciously cultivate. Every day we're confronted with this internal conflict, and the outcome of that battle ultimately shapes the course of our lives. The mind is where everything begins. It's where our beliefs are formed, where our perceptions are shaped, and where our actions are decided. The problem is we often don't realize just how powerful the mind is. We let thoughts swirl around uncontrollably, and we sometimes give them more weight than they deserve. But the reality is that the thoughts we entertain will determine the life we live. The battle in the mind isn't just a fight for peace, it's a fight for purpose, for vision, and for the future that we want to create. At the heart of this battle is the constant tension between positive and negative thoughts. Negative thoughts tend to creep in quietly, often uninvited. They show up in the form of self-doubt, fear of failure, or criticism, whether from ourselves or others. These thoughts tell us we're not good enough, that we'll never succeed, that we don't deserve happiness or success. And when we listen to these thoughts, when we allow them to dominate our minds, we start to believe them. This belief shapes our decisions, our behaviors, and ultimately the reality we live in. On the other hand, the thoughts of hope, faith, and positivity, though just as powerful, don't always come as easily. These thoughts require effort and intention. They don't just appear spontaneously. We must intentionally choose to replace the negative with the positive. We have to actively decide to believe in ourselves, to trust that we can overcome challenges, and to remind ourselves of our worth. It's not always easy, especially when the voice of doubt is so loud, but this is where the real battle lies. In the decision to believe in something greater than the limiting thoughts that try to hold us back. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 10:05 to take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. This is a powerful reminder that we have the ability to control what we think. We don't have to let every thought that enters our minds have free rein. We can choose to reject the negative thoughts that try to take hold and replace them with truth, hope, and positivity. But this requires awareness, discipline, and a willingness to fight for our mental health and well-being. What's at stake in this battle is not just our emotional state, but our future. The mind is a powerful force that shapes our actions, and our actions shape our reality. If we are constantly consumed by negative thoughts, we will inevitably act in ways that reflect that negativity. We will hold ourselves back. We will miss opportunities, and we will stay stuck in a cycle of fear and defeat. But if we take control of our minds, if we fight for the thoughts that serve us, we can break free from those cycles and step into a life of purpose, power, and potential. This battle in the mind is not a one-time struggle. It's ongoing. Every day we face the decision to engage with the positive or the negative. The thoughts that we choose to focus on, the ones we allow to stay in our minds, will direct the course of our actions. And over time, those actions accumulate, forming the life we live. This is why it's so important to be vigilant about the thoughts we entertain and to continually renew our minds. Victory in this battle doesn't come from ignoring the negative thoughts or pretending they don't exist. It comes from acknowledging them, understanding their power, and making a conscious decision to choose a better thought. It comes from standing firm in the face of fear and doubt and choosing to believe that there's more for us than what our minds often tell us. The battle may be hard, but the victory that comes from winning it is worth every effort. The process of renewing your mind is one of the most transformative things you can do in your life. It's not just about changing the way you think, it's about reprogramming your entire mental framework, shifting your perspectives, and altering the deep-seated beliefs that govern your actions and emotions. It's about allowing yourself to be shaped by a new set of truths, one that reflects not the limitations of the past, but the possibilities of the future. The concept of renewing your mind comes from the understanding that our thoughts and beliefs have been shaped over time by our experiences, our upbringing, and even the culture around us. For many of us, these influences have led to patterns of thinking that are limiting, negative, or simply not true. We may have internalized thoughts that tell us we're not enough, that we'll never succeed, or that we're destined to live in failure. These thoughts have become so deeply ingrained that we don't even recognize them as lies anymore. They feel like truth. But the process of renewing your mind involves challenging those thoughts and replacing them with something better, something that aligns with who you truly are and who you are meant to be. Romans 12:02 speaks to this idea when it says, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." This verse reminds us that transformation begins in the mind. If we want to change the way we live, we must first change the way we think. The world around us is constantly trying to mold us into something that often doesn't reflect our true potential. But when we begin to renew our minds, we start to see ourselves through a different lens. We begin to see ourselves not through the lens of our failures or shortcomings, but through the lens of possibility, purpose, and promise. So how do we renew our minds? The first step is awareness. We have to become aware of the thoughts we're allowing to control us. If we're constantly thinking that we're not capable, that we're unworthy, or that we're doomed to fail, then we're living under the influence of a false narrative. We need to identify these thoughts and expose them for what they are. Awareness is the first step in making a change. Once we're aware of these limiting thoughts, the next step is to replace them. Renewing the mind isn't just about eliminating negative thoughts. It's about replacing them with positive, empowering ones. The Bible teaches us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, that we are more than conquerors, and that we have the mind of Christ. These truths stand in stark contrast to the lies we may have been telling ourselves. Every time a negative thought enters your mind, you have the choice to replace it with something better. It's a conscious decision to think according to the truth, not the lie. Another key aspect of renewing your mind is the practice of meditation. Meditation isn't just about clearing your mind, it's about filling your mind with the right things. The more we meditate on positive truths, the more they become ingrained in our thinking. Psalm 102:3 speaks of the person whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. In other words, when we consistently focus our thoughts on what is true, good, and noble, we start to align our minds with those truths. Over time, this rewires our thinking patterns and begins to transform how we see ourselves and the world around us. Renewing your mind also requires intentionality. It's not something that happens passively. Just as our minds were shaped over time by the things we exposed ourselves to, the renewal of our minds takes consistent, intentional effort. We have to be diligent about what we expose ourselves to. If we continually feed our minds with negativity, fear, and doubt, then our thoughts will reflect that. But if we surround ourselves with positivity, inspiration, and truth, we start to shift the way we think and respond to life. One of the most powerful tools in renewing the mind is the practice of affirmation. Speaking truth over yourself daily can be a powerful way to reinforce the new mindset you're building. Whether it's speaking affirmations of self-worth, confidence, or faith, the act of declaring truth aloud is a tangible way to renew your mind. These affirmations, when spoken with conviction and consistency, become embedded in your subconscious, gradually replacing the negative self-talk that has held you back. The process of renewing your mind is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey of transformation, but it's one that leads to true freedom. As we renew our minds, we begin to see our potential, embrace our identity, and step into the life that was always meant for us. It is a process of aligning our thoughts with truth, allowing our minds to be reshaped by the power of positive, life-giving thoughts. In a world that is constantly demanding our attention, setting boundaries for your mind has become one of the most crucial skills for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Our minds are like gardens. They need to be cultivated, protected, and carefully tended to in order to flourish. Without clear boundaries, we risk letting negative thoughts, external influences, and unhealthy patterns invade our mental space, leaving us stressed, overwhelmed, and disconnected from our true purpose. Setting boundaries for your mind begins with understanding that not every thought, idea, or influence deserves a place in your life. Just as you wouldn't allow someone to walk into your home uninvited, you shouldn't allow unhelpful or harmful thoughts to settle in your mind without your consent. In fact, much like a physical boundary, mental boundaries protect your inner world, ensuring that only thoughts and influences that align with your values, your peace, and your well-being are given access. The first step in setting boundaries for your mind is awareness. You must become conscious of the thoughts that flood your mind. Many times we let our minds wander without realizing that we are entertaining thoughts that don't serve us. We might dwell on past mistakes, worry about future outcomes, or listen to the constant noise of negativity around us. These thoughts, when left unchecked, can overwhelm us and distort our perception of reality. Becoming aware of these thoughts is the first crucial step in setting boundaries. Once you've become aware of the negative or limiting thoughts that invade your mind, the next step is to take control over what you allow to stay. This involves rejecting thoughts that do not align with your core beliefs, your values, or your desired mental state. If a thought enters your mind that says, "You're not good enough," or "you'll never succeed," you have the power to dismiss it and replace it with a more positive, empowering thought. For example, you might replace that thought with, "I am worthy," or "I am capable of overcoming challenges." Replacing negative thoughts is a form of mental boundary setting, where you assert control over your own mind and reject anything that would harm your sense of peace or purpose. Setting boundaries also means limiting the exposure to outside influences that affect your mental health. In a world dominated by social media, news, and the opinions of others, it's easy to become overwhelmed by external noise. Constantly scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to others, or consuming negative news can have a toxic impact on your mental state. Setting boundaries in this context means being intentional about what you consume. This could involve limiting your time on social media, choosing to follow accounts that inspire and uplift you, or deciding to take a break from certain media outlets that drain your energy. Just as you would protect your physical environment, protecting your mental space is equally important. Another key component of setting mental boundaries is learning to say no. Often we allow the demands of others, whether at work, in relationships, or in social settings, to invade our mental space and drain our energy. Saying yes to everything leaves little room for rest, recovery, or self-care. Learning to say no in a respectful, firm way is essential for preserving your mental health. It's okay to set limits on how much you give to others, and it's okay to prioritize your own mental and emotional needs. Setting boundaries in relationships, whether with family, friends, or coworkers, is a critical aspect of maintaining a healthy mind. It's also important to recognize that setting boundaries for your mind involves protecting your emotional health. Sometimes we allow our emotions to be dictated by external circumstances or other people's opinions. This can lead to unnecessary stress, frustration, and anger. Setting emotional boundaries means taking responsibility for how you respond to situations and people. It means not allowing others to control your emotions and learning to manage your emotional reaction. This could involve practicing mindfulness, deep breathing, or taking a step back when things get overwhelming, allowing you to regain control and reset your emotional state. Setting mental boundaries also means giving yourself permission to rest and recharge. In our busy, fast-paced world, we often neglect the importance of mental rest. Just as our bodies need sleep and recovery, our minds need time to relax and recharge. Setting boundaries in this area might mean scheduling time for rest, practicing self-care, or disconnecting from technology. It's essential to recognize that taking breaks and allowing yourself time to process and relax is not a luxury. It's a necessity for maintaining mental health. Ultimately, setting boundaries for your mind is about creating a healthy, protected space where you can thrive. It's about being intentional with your thoughts, protecting your peace, and refusing to let negative influences invade your mental space. By setting these boundaries, you're not only taking control of your mental and emotional well-being, but you're also creating an environment where you can grow, heal, and step into the life you are meant to live. Living out of purpose is not just about existing or going through the motions of daily life. It is about aligning your actions, thoughts, and intentions with a deeper sense of meaning, something that transcends the routine and brings fulfillment. When you live with purpose, your life becomes intentional, driven by a clear understanding of who you are and what you are meant to do. It is this clarity that fuels your passions and directs your energy, guiding you through challenges and helping you stay focused on what truly matters. At its core, living out of purpose means recognizing that there is more to life than merely surviving. It's about acknowledging the gifts, talents, and passions that have been uniquely given to you and then using them to serve others, make a difference, and contribute to the greater good. Purpose is often something that resonates deeply within, a calling or a mission that gives life meaning beyond material success or transient pleasures. Many people spend years or even decades wandering through life, unsure of their true purpose, constantly chasing after external achievements without ever feeling truly fulfilled. This happens when people are disconnected from their internal calling, placing too much focus on external expectations, societal norms, or the pursuit of status. They end up living a life that's shaped by the pressures of others, rather than one that reflects their unique talents and passions. The first step in living out of purpose is self-awareness. You must first ask yourself, who am I? What drives me? What are my passions? These questions are foundational to discovering your true purpose. Often, it's easy to be influenced by the opinions of others or by the expectations placed on us, but living a purpose-driven life means taking the time to dig deep into your soul and explore the desires that lie there. It involves listening to your heart, recognizing the things that make you feel most alive, and understanding what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. Once you have an understanding of your inner calling, the next step is to embrace it with confidence. Too often people shy away from pursuing their true purpose because of fear or self-doubt. The world may tell you that your dreams are too big or unrealistic, but living out a purpose requires you to silence those negative voices and take bold steps forward. It's about taking risks, trusting that your path will unfold as you walk in alignment with your true self. The process of living purposefully may not always be easy. It requires resilience, determination, and courage, but it's a journey worth embarking on. Living out of purpose also means finding a sense of alignment in your day-to-day life. Purpose isn't just something that happens occasionally, it's something that permeates everything you do, whether it's the way you work, interact with others, or take care of yourself. Living with purpose brings intentionality to all areas of your life. It means making conscious choices that reflect your values, understanding how each decision contributes to your bigger picture, and ensuring that your actions are aligned with your heart's deepest desires. Furthermore, living out of purpose is closely connected to serving others. True purpose is often found not in personal gain, but in contributing to the well-being of others. It's about using your unique gifts to uplift, support, and inspire those around you. Whether it's through your job, relationships, or community involvement, your purpose often intersects with the needs of others. When you live with purpose, you realize that your impact on the world is far more significant than you might have initially thought. And this sense of service provides a deep sense of fulfillment. Another key aspect of living out of purpose is resilience in the face of adversity. When you are clear about your purpose, challenges become less intimidating. You view obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to grow, learn, and strengthen your resolve. Purpose acts as an anchor during tough times, reminding you of the bigger picture and why you're doing what you're doing. It helps you navigate the storms of life with a sense of direction and unwavering faith. Ultimately, living out of purpose isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey. Your purpose can evolve over time as you learn, grow, and experience life in new ways. It's important to stay flexible and open to new opportunities, recognizing that purpose can manifest in many different forms. The key is to remain connected to the essence of who you are and the impact you want to have on the world.